Here we go. And we're going to officially start. So hi, welcome to the Poetry Peep Show. So I organized this event and asked 15 of my favorite poets a tremendous favor, which is to show up today and give us a little glimpse of one piece of them, a naked little piece of them today. And the reason for this is I have a new book coming out with Moontide Press. It comes out the end of September. Right now you can pre-order the book at Moontide Press, and they offer free shipping. So you just have to wait a little longer, but you get the book first and there's free shipping. So this is sort of a collection of very, very awkward love poems that I've written. And so one of the poems is a very long poem about a girl who had her belly button removed. And I never met the girl, but I did meet her belly button. So part of the book is about falling in love with this piece of a woman and the relationship that I had imagined, I suppose, of this one piece of a person. And so that whole thing made me question, do we ever love anyone wholly, or do we just love little bits and pieces of each other? So do we love each other in time, or by gender representation, or by finances, or by, you know, like all these different sort of calculations that go into loving someone. Suzanne Lummis, poetry makes great Christmas presents, also for birthday, Easter, Veterans Day. I love Suzanne Lummis. Okay. And that actually will start off our reading. So Suzanne Lummis is going to open us up with, she's her first little peep show presentation is by the great Suzanne Lummis, who I think is most of our mentor and teachers, and really, like, I would say the heart of the LA poetry scene. So
one of the hearts. There are a few hearts.
One of the hearts.
Yeah, and many hearts here today. So we're going to start with hands, it turns out. And Nicelle, thank you for coercing me into writing this poem. After I agreed to write it, I had no choice. So, yeah, right. It's called Barehanded. Unclothed by night and by noon hour, bare among strangers on the street, either in or out of the bath, in the rain, the hands go around nakedest faces, but unlike the face, they conceal nothing unless they've got something to hide. A trick up the sleeve, a palmed card in a game of mighty high stakes, that dark close-up magic that's got you under its spell. You know what I mean. The fake cut, the double turnover, the fake overhand shuffle. Unlike breasts, thighs, often elbows, they go usually naked unless shaping snowballs, boxing, or washing dishes in latex gloves. And they don't give a fig or a flam, one feeling for trouble, the other cradling the defeated head, one thieving hand in the cookie jar, the other signing on the line it should not sign onto, throwing it all to the wind, grasping after straws. Someday they've got the whole mad body dancing the overhand shuffle. Those bare, naked hands, trickster hands. Tuesdays, neither sure what the other's up to. Wednesdays, some good, some evil, all knowledge and dumbest flesh. Always one hand striving to remake the world, the other taking what it doesn't own. That's Nicelle's poem. I would not have written that poem, Nicelle. I would not have written that poem. You made
That
me
is
do
a
it.
great poem, Suzanne.
I would not have written it if it weren't for you. Now I so owe you.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I almost wanted to turn this into a chapbook. I wonder if we could like submit all our poems and then send it, because I want a copy of that poem, Suzanne. I'm pretty sure I want a copy of everyone's poem. So
Okay.
I know, I agree, Sonia. Killer ending to that. It's so good.
Oh.
So we're gonna have our early ladies go early. So Annette is my dear friend. We've gotten into so much trouble together over the years. And so coming to us from Minneapolis, Annette.
Hi, thank you. And I'm sorry I can't stay and hear all of your wonderful work. I double booked myself and we have theater tickets for tonight. So thanks for understanding. I have my body part is heart. And this poem is called Worthy of Ocean. The green blue of ocean loved you, layered salt along tired, longing limbs who held too many tangles of webbed hair, fallen, tasting of sand dollars, uncooked crab, placed in pails of sunrises, followed by chicken fried steak, covered in thick gravy, grainy okra, olive chubby hands wrapped around a deck of cards we shuffled, chairs we lathered aloe on burnt flesh that was still smiling, loving, scratching the backs of peeling kin. Green light, red light, go. Down the block on the teeter-totter on wheels, as if chicken in a biscuit had wings, covered with aerosol, easy cheese, whose container felt refrigerated on my fat fingers, popping pop rocks, fizzle, purple-red explosions on the insides of my eyelids, dripping dippity-doo sweat drops down my adolescent forehead in the changing room of the high school pool, out of the blue, as if it were only in my dreams, that electric youth, a fallen angel with cat eyes drawn on with blue eyeliner, perfume patted on pink skin with polka dot rainbows down, polka dot rainbows drawn on a budding chest whose naked heart hadn't been cracked open yet. You swam. Thanks.
Thanks, Annette. So I'm going to preview my little preview peep show of the book. So this is how the story of a love affair with a woman's severed belly button began for me. So, and then Gina, just so you know, you'll be right after me, so it's not scary. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay. All right. So, like I said, language is my awkward collection of awkward love poems, and so here is one of those poems. Belly button number 1. She tells me I have something you'll like. 1. Opening the French door of a large wardrobe, she takes out a severed human belly button. The wardrobe stands like a giant eye or one in the room. What she offers from its center drawer, discarded slice of origin, wordless poem, door to the infinite. Yes, I said, I like it. 2. Here it is as I heard it. My friend met her years ago when living in nowhere, Arizona. She describes her as a suburban looking thing, not the type who typically appears unannounced at desert communes. She was after my friend's roommate, a well-known body modifier, a scarification artist. 3. My friend knows me well, knows all about my hours spent documenting body augmentations, the shock of entrance, the slip from consciousness. I've a box of portraits showing people going somewhere called pain. It looks like an absence called pleasure, empty as nirvana. 4. I shake the photo box for the sound of some one thing rattling there. I shake this severed skin and hear nothing. 5. She wanted her mother removed. After days of her not leaving his front door, the body artist resigned to give her what she asked for. Belting her to a table, he injected her with Novocaine and with a hot knife took a palm-sized strip of flesh. She left shortly after, telling them to burn the skin. My friend couldn't bring herself to destroy it. My friend kept the navel fresh in the freezer until she had to return to California for her mother's funeral. My friend, whose own mother bled to death in her arms. My friend put it in a velvet box where it shriveled to the object I was holding now, just in case this girl wanted her mother back. So that's my severed belly button, the beginning of it. So now I'm handing it over to Gina.
You're going to be known as the belly button poet.
Nicelle, before I leave, I just want to mention, I've had the pleasure of reading this collection and you should totally pre-order it. It is wonderful. And where can you see that again, Nicelle?
Okay, I'll do a better job. I'll put the link in the chat like I'm supposed to. I'll put thank you in it.
Press. Okay. Yeah, am I supposed to start now? Yeah. Okay. Mine isn't as, or I'm not going to say anything. I am fingers. I am fingers. Fingers aren't just the nakedest things on my body. They are naked in truth. More naked than my lips because they speak the words most hidden in my past. My fingers are my body, telling me what's inside. And words to say to you out loud. My fingers are the most nakedest things on my body. Okay, so this one is a new poem for my new book coming up. The sun's dazing song, mulberries squish softly blackening soles of bare feet, pat, pat, patting over pale concrete up to the porch, past the clink, clink, clinking hummingbird feeder, swish, swish, swishing, leaving indigo footprints along sticky, sticky, sticking seeds settling in fibers of a welcome mat stuck drying under the tone of singing suns, crackle, crackle, hymn, pop, pops, crackling, tune over the radio waves, frenzied frequencies cycling thousands of times lower than middle D, sunflowers smiling with their ochre petals, fluttering in the wind, plink, plink, plunk, obsession of leaves at their feet, light cascading over the fawn fur of a pug, panting on the couch, ha, 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 he, songs of the day, shadows crouching in corners near the curtains, muted vibrations hiding in the cracks, haze cascading a carbon core, sphere-shaped particles, snuggling the atmosphere, singeing the stooping summer squash, leaves and paling purple mallow, petals in the hazy afternoon smiles of the now sinking sunflowers and lazy limping lavender sitting during rolling blackouts before the sun blacks out in a dizzy day during a dazing drought. The moon settles in the cloudy night sky, pulling a blanket of smog over its eyes, ants anxiously crawling between wooden slats, scurrying for water before the sun's song rises. That's it. Thank you.
We have a Rooney next. Okay, so just, this is the problem with hosting is like, for some reason that brings out more nerves than anything else. So we have a Rooney, then Peggy, and then JD, which I'm very excited to hear from. So just so everyone knows and isn't nervous. All right, here we go.
Thanks, Nicelle. So this is the new poem I wrote for you, drawing on true experiences from the recent past. Centipede. In the shower, I trace a 2-inch centipede on my nakedness, a reminder of what is missing. A souvenir from the day my Judas body betrayed me. I stroke the spine of this flesh insect, evidence of the blade carving an escape hatch in the small of my back. Fading welts mark a tunnel out of pain, an emergency exit. This is the only scar I didn't give myself. Beneath the waistband of my jeans, the surgeon etched a handle, a landmark where men lay their heavy palms to steer me. I regret the way I've used dry leaves to force centipedes out from under loamy logs, how I watched, godlike, as their frantic legs scrambled for purchase. And supposedly, I'm working on another full-length book. The tentative title in my mind is In the Garden of Your Body. So this is something that's published on Shannon Phillips' online magazine called A Moon of One's Own. And this is called Irises. You cut back the irises, spent stalks and vulvar blooms vanished. Summer riots in violet and white. You kneel between rows, knees dirty, hair coming undone from a messy braid. Your hands rake the earth like they rake my naked back, searching. Uproot bulbs, cut their vegetal testes gently. Shake the dirt from each one you unearth. Your eager hands paw through a disrupted garden, afternoons slanting across your sweaty upper lip. This is how I love you most, undone, unearthed, laid out on the soil where I can brush September from you.
Thanks, Aruni. I believe that we have JD up, who this is our first time meeting, which is amazing. I've heard so much about you, and now here you are. I'm also noticing more people are joining our reading. There are some people from my past who have really built me from the foundation up. And so I can't name everyone that's here, but I'm really grateful that you're here. So just know that I see you. I'm watching you come into the room, and it's very exciting. All right. Okay. All right, new friend, JD.
So Nicole, don't forget me.
It's Peggy.
Oh, Peggy.
I'll go after.
Oh my God.
Are you sure? Okay.
After all that. Okay.
No, that's okay. Peggy, don't hate me forever, okay?
No. I wasn't going to let her get away with it. Trust me. But I was going to let you go first.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone's been fantastic so far. This forced me to write a poem, and I'm so glad Gina did the onomatopoeia, because I thought I'd throw some in here too. So here we go. Mine was the chest. And so this is Imagine. Your head here, right here on my chest, ba-dum. You hear my heart like a drum tap, ba-dum. Imagine us in our luckier 20s. You're thrumming your fingers against my skin, my heart, ba-dum, ba-dum. This braggadocio tells you to stay, ba-dum. This chest is for arrows and bullets, ba-dum. Imagine I'm Captain America, juiced on super soldier serum, surging through my righteous veins, ba-dum, ba-dum. You smiled, then you laughed, here, ba-dum. When you asked what I called this, imagine I'm Superman, I said, and this is my fortress of solitude. Too honest in our 30s, ba-dum, ba-dum. Your head here, still here, ba-dum. You hear me say what I should have, ba-dum. Imagine me wiser than I was at 40, saying what I didn't, what I thought you understood here, ba-dum, ba-dum. There's nothing else here, just me, ba-dum. No super soldier, no bulletproof skin, ba-dum. Imagine wherever you are, someone you might imagines you here, right here, ba-dum, ba-dum. And then thank you. And then I have a short one, is the title of my Moontide book. So this is my Moontide book, Kissing the Moon. Those are my dogs. And this is Kissing the Wound. Time heals all of them, but the ones that bleed, the ones caked in the kind of hurt that comes from our own inertia, wantonness, self-inflicted lacerations. These need lips to kiss the cut with absolution, skin, saliva, a lover, or mother, or pet, who knows it wasn't your intention only to cause such a fuss. And time, sometimes, leaves behind tender words, hats, blowing at it, your favorite colored Band-Aids, and patches you up without love.
Mm.
Now for the unforgettable Peggy.
God, I'm so glad you went first, JD. I'm so thrilled. Sometimes I can't hear right after I read, right? But anyways, I picked the pineal gland, which is a weird thing because it's in the middle of your brain. It's always naked, except for the fact that it's draped by gray matter. But it's considered in many philosophical circles to be the seat of the soul. And I think, how can you be naked if you don't share your real spirit soul with someone? How could you ever be naked? So anyway, this is called the pure wind of the body. The soles of the feet would have been my second choice. Permeable membrane between the body and the body of earth. It would have reminded us all of our microcosmology. Or I could have disguise for this pineal poem. I could have dressed as the eye of Horus or the myth of Genesis. I am a tiny organ, thought to contain the switch box of our being, the most singular and pre-encoded hormonal exquisitor, lodged mid-center between our lobes of brain and matters of the heart, the cone of the Fibonacci oracle, a spiral symmetry named for pine cone, pine apple, icon on the headdress of Kali or the scepter knob. There is no right or left to this naked part, no mirrored halves, no chambers or lobes, only the whole, the continuity of one, and yet oddly so, also known as the third eye, but let's not get confused. Pineal is the only stand-alone gland there is on our body temple grounds, perfectly balanced over a fountain splay of spinal fluid in constant primordial percolation, anexial interception of interoceptive circuits, our circadian Sherpa, if you will. Rhythmic reveler leading us to our dreams, captain of rest and liminal mystery, busker at the crossing of nerve and endocrine systems, a luminous darkness, or even a denser light matter. Keeper of the day's hour, visceroceptive receptor, and sexy cycler or bioconductress, the body's personal astronomical clock at the very hub of it all. Descartes named the pineal. He announced that tiny spirit animals break from the gates of sleep there, a psychedelic wakefulness like lightning when it hits mid-flight. Either way, people give little credence to anything unrational from Descartes anymore. But it does give you something to ponder when you roll over next to your lover and open your first and third eye on the day.
Okay, these are phenomenal. Peggy, do you have another poem for us, Peggy?
Yeah, yes, I'll read one more. I'm sorry that it ended up being a teaching poem.
No,
but you know, it's like I started to talk to people about it and nobody knew what it was. But I'm sure all of you do. So thank you. Okay, so my second poem is from this book, Forbidden Plums, which slipped out during the pandemic and did not have too many readings. And I had the opportunity to read this last poem at a Perla concert. It's dedicated to her and Leonard Cohen. And I got up there and there were 300 people and I forgot my introduction. The poem was fine, but I was mortified. So I just want to give thanks to those two people who just really gave me so much during the pandemic. Gathered safely in, and it starts with an epigraph from Leonard Cohen. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely in. If I end you till the dance of time, will the dance continue? Or will time stop it? Will it circle back, spin retro causation, take its own sweet punctuation, mark of a question, call me you by my given name? The syllables look right past me. The wrongs number, the mountains burn, rage flares, masking in the streets, streets all roped off, hope lost and raw. If I end you till the dance of time, will you ration me like paper? Will you roast me earthwise, a forest mouthed in honey crisp? Will the eye of your apple seek early emancipation? What is slavery after all, if not for cages? What are babies in cages, if not the borders of our bodies flung wide, ajar, open, open? What is open, if not action? What is marvel, if not a shift? If I end you till the dance of time, will we gather safely in?
Too didactic.
That is awesome. Thank you, Peggy. There's a lot of Moontide authors here today. I mean, that's one of the reasons I was so grateful to be part of Moontide, is it feels like a family of poets that I feel really grateful to be a part of, you know, the same body of. Kind of interesting how a publishing company can put all these parts of poets together and like form its own body. So we're putting on this Peep show. There's a couple of people that came in late. So just to kind of welcome you and preface what's going on, I asked my favorite poets to expose one part of their body in a little Peep show. And this is a preview of my new book that's coming out with Moontide Press. I'm trying to do a good job. Here is the pre-order in the chat. I'm usually very bad at this, but I will tell you, I'm hitting the pre-hard a little bit harder than I usually do other things, mainly because it's like a pay it forward thing. So the pre-order sales go to funding not my book, but someone else. So when Moontide picks up another book, my pre-order sales go to sort of fostering and taking care of that book. So if you want to think of it this way, if you pre-order the book today, not only are you supporting my book, but you're supporting a future book for Moontide. Man, it's easier to promote if you think of it that way. But so parts of the body. So my book is a collection of awkward love poems based off of falling in love with a woman's severed belly button. And here is part 2 of that adventure. So here we go. Belly poem number 2. How an affair with the part of an unknown woman begins. 1. I've told this story already. Already there is a girl who cut her navel out. I don't know her, but I've kissed this severed piece of who? 2. I don't know her, and I do know her. Isn't that the way of shared flesh? Why trouble with this? Falling in with a discarded piece of person. Tender touch. Not human, but scab. Is it wrong to touch who, or is it what cannot feel back? How long can I keep sleeping with loss before giving birth to not? 3. Severed human flesh held to the light of a window glows. The fine hairs of a woman's stomach flash as a touchable flame. In my hands, bright as parchment, a story of long to strike. flesh dry to an immovable permanence, navel twisting into itself, a wordless language. 4. Every noon I birth a new us and watch it die mid-flight. It dives beneath my feet, swimming circles where I walk. Who have I loved well? This unknown someone? A wish. She'll pull me into wet center. 4. Ladies and gentlemen, the Etymology Dictionary presents for your viewing pleasure the navel. Roots include bemix, literally whirlpool. Old Church, Slavic kapu, originally bud, considered a feminine sexual center. Since ancient times and still in parts is the seat of wantonness in a woman. Words for it in most languages have a secondary sense of center, meaning center of country, to contemplate oneself, to meditate, to be. 5. My editor tells me this isn't a book about nothing. You're trying to convince yourself love exists. 6. Where she carved an absence has become my omnipresence, portal into person. There's no getting in nor out. I'm trapped in this whirl of half-birth things. I cannot love wholly, only obsess in the where of us. 7. Navel gazer, get out of your own way. Is it her or me I put my tongue in? All right, so that's the second part of the epic of falling in love with a woman's severed belly button. And next up, we have Allison, Armine, Rich, and Shelley, just so that they know and are not taken back. So we have Allison Turner, who's the most gracious, proper, beautiful person I know, who's going to expose one of her breasts today. There we go.
Got the
Only
dogs
mine.
excited, didn't it? This is a poem that asks, and there's an epigraph. People asked Google what to say to a breast cancer patient. This was not its answer. What is a naked breast? A twin? A topography of fault lines scanned and mapped under a constellation of blue tattoos? A bewildered landscape reminiscent of Chernobyl and the ordinary silence of aftermath? A twin, did I already say that? But one that has lost touch, as if from the far side of a shared bed. But at least it still exists. One of two, still hospitable, even if it doesn't dance in public, even if it has become merely the older sister, the one who has always had to go first. I had a book come out in the pandemic, and so I'll read a very short poem from that. It's called What to Do in an Emergency. September 22nd, a report of storms off Baja. Yesterday, I was handed a rubber nose and mouth to breathe through. Learned not to touch a heart that is beating. How when a bullet has pierced the chest, you can coax a lung to fill by careful application of a credit card. That you can't kill someone who is already dead. That if you give your breath to strangers, it's a way of stalling. That there's no exact moment when day and night are equal.
I had to be careful who went after Allison, because I really do like Allison's words are fire. And so I picked Armine because I knew that she could rise to the fire occasion. So here is Armine.
Oh, Nicelle. I'm so happy to be here to celebrate with everybody. Buy Nicelle's book, buy it, buy it, buy it. Okay, so I've been having issues with my eyes last couple of years. They water for no reason. I have allergies to something, I don't know what. Some days I wake up with my eyelids completely swollen shut. No idea what's going on. Sun allergist, no clue. So I chose eye. So this is the naked eye for Nicelle Davis. I put on my drugstore readers to decipher the difference between cerulean and teal. Persimmon is a shade deeper than marigold. Vermilion, a tad more powdery than scarlet. I buy coloring books and dozens of markers to reduce the panic of my inner eye, that deep-seated turmoil humans harbor despite the daily ritual of medicine. I call on the eye of Horus to heal me. I stop meditating because my third eye is tired of carrying all the colors of the rainbow all by itself. The optometrist told me my eyes are also oddly shaped like my brain, slightly more oval than orb. I weigh the slight difference between ochre and chartreuse when coloring Van Gogh's sunflowers, blend jade with tangerine to achieve the exact luster of umber for the craggy branches of his cherry blossom tree. I delight in this win. Maybe the difference between fine art and a coloring book are the lengths the naked eye will go to achieve balance. I run out of cornflower blue for the sky and use cobalt instead. The heavens are now in 2 shades of blue. All artists know this battle with balance. When you see a comet with the naked eye, does something inside you shift a little? My greatest fear is blindness, since a writer should write with her eyes, as Gertrude Stein once said. That dreaded blank space where sound and touch take precedence, where darkness settles behind eyelids, and every color of the rainbow shuts his eyes and fades to black.
That's great. That's really great.
So Harmony has an incredible collection too. I don't know if she's reading from it today, but you should definitely order her book. Most of the poets here have books, so just like if you're not familiar with them now, then just kind of pay attention to their names in the boxes. And poetry does not exist without readers. Like we are dependent on you. It's like it's not dependent. We're like in a relationship with you, which also sounds a little weird too. But anyways, Rich, you're up next. Speaking of building relationships with poetry, here's Rich.
Thanks, Nicelle. I'm going to just jump right in. Lobulus auriculi, an ornate champagne-sipping PhD-bearing name for my earlobes, those humble, fleshy gatekeepers on the front lines of all things heard, my earlobes. They've served as emergency escape slides for the countless thoughts that have crash landed in my brain and tumbled out my ears. They've offered endless erotic eargasms with tease with carnal and curious tongues, my earlobes. Fleshy teardrops revealing all is not always well in the world of sound. When embarrassed, they've grown hot and red as sirens, loudly proclaiming shames I'd wanted to keep hidden deep within. With so many nerve endings, my earlobes are far from nervous. They've drooped with age, a body compass perpetually pointing south, dangle-dawdling like cheap, fleshy earrings purchased at the 99-cent store of anatomy. My earlobes have not always received the best of care. They've been poked and pulled, tugged and twisted. Back in high school, I got hammered one night, demanded a friend pierce my ear. He numbed it with an ice cube, seized a Zippo lighter, then heated one of his mom's sewing needles. As he jammed it through my earlobe, I heard a distinct pop. The sound far more dizzying than all the tequila I had consumed. The next day, my earlobe was red and swollen, pussy and pestilent. After 10 days of antibiotics and a healthy bitching out from my parents, I abandoned all plans of an ear piercing, though I do bear a faint scar to this day. That in itself is piercing enough. And for my second poem, I wanted to read one from Beat Not Beat on Moontide Press, on which I was the lead editor, along with Alexis Roan Fancher, Kim Shuck, S.A. Griffin, and a huge shout out to Kathleen Florence for all her continued assistance and support with the book throughout the process, including now. Armine. Here's another one for the eyes. This is not by me. This is Bob Kaufman. Would you wear my eyes? My body is a torn mattress, disheveled, throbbing place for the comings and goings of loveless transients. The whole of me is an unfurnished room, filled with dank breath, escaping and gasp to nowhere. Before completely objective mirrors, I have shot myself with my eyes. But death refused my advances. I have walked on my walls each night through strange landscapes in my head. I have brushed my teeth with orange peel, iced with cold blood from the dripping faucets. My face is covered with maps of dead nations. My hair is littered with drying ragweed. Bitter raisins drip haphazardly from my nostrils, while schools of glowing minnows swim from my mouth. The nipples of my breasts are sun-brown cockleburs. Long forgotten Indian tribes fight battles on my chest, unaware of the sunken ships rotting in my stomach. My legs are charred remains of burnt cypress trees. My feet are covered with moss from bayous flowing across my floor. I can't go out anymore. I shall sit on my ceiling. Would you wear my eyes? Thanks, Nicelle. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rich. Yeah, Beat Not Beat is an amazing anthology. You should definitely go out. And then Rich is too a Moontide poet, and you should go out and get his books too. Both are great. All right, Shelley, you're up next. The beautiful, amazing Shelley.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be a part of this. For my body part, I chose the elbow, and this one is called Rough Skin. My mama has a saying about you don't know what you're being protected from. She means God, but I'm thinking about calluses or the gray skin on my elbow that doesn't go away even with exfoliation and lotion. Ugly wrinkles, loose from stretching over the point of bones and being dug into tabletops and countertops and armrests every day without rest or recognition. From getting leaned on full weight when my back can't handle anymore, when my lips or my hips or legs can't remain upright. It used to be dimpled elbows were a sign of beauty. So when mine go red or numb, get pressure indentations from wicker or leather stitching, well, call them beauty marks too. And all my shopping for the perfect shirt with the perfect sleeves, I forget I wear usefulness in that dull gray patch I hardly notice until a store's mirror reveals what's not new or chic, not designed to be shown off. Skin, hinge, point in the middle of my arm, the elbow, protection from what I put it through. Rough skin adornment. Maybe the proof of being loved by something only just exposed enough for me to trace a soft fingertip around and around the edges, without tipping over into the ability to touch what is beyond my reach. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. So here's my moment of shameless plugging. Well, maybe, oh, I think I lost my, oh, this is such a, okay. I think I lost the link. Oh, geez, I'm so bad at this. But I'm going to go back to belly button poem. So the next belly button poem is, it's not just this girl who had this condition. So there's a lot of people who are afraid of their belly buttons because they think it connects them to their mother. And so there's a lot of famous people that have different parts of their bodies cut off in order to remove their mother. It's rumored that Hitchcock had his belly button removed because he was terrified of his mother. So here's another belly poem about people cutting off parts of their body to cut love out of their body. So here we go. From the language of fractions that you can get through Moontide Press. All right, belly poem number 3. In the history of shoes made from human flesh. 1. The dried flesh clicks under my fingernails, sound of little feet scurrying out from the severed belly button, a psychological collapse, this unexpected drum, something like the oddity of holding one's own hand. Is it my hand or touch skin making music where we touch or touched? When it comes to self-soothing, skin to skin, I can't tell me from her. This her that is no longer hers, in my hands. Does she become mine too, in this? Something like a fairy tale, something like glass, something like the gorged out eyes of stepsisters, don't you think? What became of the heel? What became of the toes? What do you see in the red Rorschach test of severed woman's parts? I both recoil and delight at judgment, how it brings all things closer and at the same time further from me. This girl who is not here yet fully present in my hands, can gossip summon her spirit back to flesh? 4. In other news, train robber Big Nose George Parrot became a fancy pair of shoes after he died of, in other words, a play is written from the perspective of Magna Gobble's high-heeled shoes made of, in other words, Hitchcock had his belly button removed for many reasons, including a phobia of ... Other is just another name for, and then the poem ends with like a fill in the blank, but of course, mother rhymes with other. So there we have it. So if you could, please order this book about a woman's severed belly button. Oh, that's awful. So difficult. Okay, but next up to save me is like a host of poets that I love. Sierra Nelson is probably, she does this thing where she collaborates with spiders. She has spiders collaborate in writing a poem. I think she speaks jellyfish. She's truly an amazing poet. So we have Sierra Nelson, Zachary, who of course is like also a heart source in the LA poetry scene, Sonia, who's coming from Minneapolis as well, and then the beautiful and amazing Victoria. This is definitely like a little segment that I'm really excited about. So, all right. Hi, Sierra from Seattle.
Hi, Nicelle. Oh my gosh, this reading is just incredible. I love all of the echoes across, and I'm just like scooching up from the earlobe with this, with the naked ear. My love, I once thought I was an oracle, but maybe I was just an auricle, just the outer edge of hearing, 2 satellite rims, my furthest ridge of reach, earing the waves of understanding, the lip of listening, future, present, past. With no disrespect to the earlobe, is the helix the most romantic part of the body? I wish I could trace yours, beginning on each side, at the upper root where each fin attaches to your head, ascending the cartilage delicately from there, gently descending. This is the beginning of the reverse megaphone. Is anybody home? I'm waiting on your whisper inside a seashell, gravitational pull of a black hole. I'm here with naked ear and matching atrium of the heart, apart yet attached to you by every vibration of air molecule between us. Whatever word you will say next, I can never guess. And when I first met Nicelle, I was collaborating with Lauren Erdrich, and we were all, I think, in a reading together. So I have a little excerpt of a collaboration that I did with visual artist Lauren Erdrich. We've done a couple, but this one was also in the spirit of things that came out in the pandemic. So these are drawings by artist Lauren Erdrich and then poems of mine. And the book is called Isolation, but hopefully you can see Lauren's amazing artwork there. And I don't think anyone did nostrils, so this one had nostrils in it. Some colors are made by bending light, not absorbing or reflecting, like a hall of mirrors within the feather. Sometimes a sense of self constructed of transparent nanoscale, chitin and air layered structures. I close my wings and fold up the sea. What became of me after? Sparking through time space, the sense of blue touch sweeping back from the nostrils.
I mean, I try not to have favorites, but I have an obvious favorite. So Sierra Nelson's I Take Back the Sponge Cake is not only this incredible illustrated collaboration, but it's a choose your own adventure poetry book. So if you want to take two of your greatest joys and put them together and then have it illustrated, that's her book. So you should definitely order a copy, because it's like, I mean, it's been my favorite for years, like just obsessively my favorite. So I'm really happy that she was here. I have Zachary up, who I love equally. So I'm glad that you're here, Zachary. Show us your body part.
Okay, so this one's called Shoulder the Weight. When the same old words are unable to express anything more than their original meaning, I look to your shoulders to find the truth. Like a meteorologist surveying a situation's climate from the bridge that connects a mind to a heart, waiting for everything to be exposed. The sureness and confidence of your shoulders, broadly held on those rare days when everything just happens to be going the way it should, when anything can be accomplished. The subtle shrug you gave after saying it was all right when the call came that you weren't chosen for your selected for your dream job, let me know that it was anything but. Or the cold shoulder given after I stupidly said something upsetting was all I needed to know that I had hurt your feelings and wanted to make it right. The warmth and acceptance as I sleepily rest my head gently against you, letting me know that I am home, I am safe. The tenseness of carrying the load of your parents' hopes and dreams while reconciling them with those of your own, those you don't feel you deserve, but you do. The softening as I put my arms around you, temporarily melting away the stresses of a world that can be overbearing at times. And if it all ever becomes too much for one person to bear, please let me shoulder some of the weight too. And this is another poem that I kind of actually wrote for Nicelle for the Poppy Festival, but it's part of a collection that I'm finishing up. There once was flowers. This is for my grandmother. There once was flowers sprouting up from every corner of my grandmother's yard, with butterflies and bumblebees delicately harvesting the nectars and pollens across the yard. There once was flowers like camellia bushes anchoring the porch, providing beauty and privacy in the spaces separating the inside and outside of my grandmother's home. I would sit on that porch as a child in the cool breeze of late summer nights, waiting for something as I watched the low twinkle of the steam plant in the distance. There once was flowers like the line of roses leading up to the twin bird of paradise trees that created a tunnel to another world. A world where my grandmother would sit midday on a shaded stone bench, reading Danielle Steele novels after gardening for hours. There once was flowers and fruit trees scattered across the landscape of my grandmother's yard, like the fully grown avocado tree that towered over portions of the house that I climbed one day and was too scared to come back down without her help. There once was flowers like the blackberry tree that was ripped out to make space to park one of her kids' very old motorhomes. She said it was fine, but I heard her cry softly in the bathroom later that day. There once was flowers before the home renovation projects she did not want had her son stepping on and ripping out anything lining the edges of the house. because it was easier than working around them and she could just plant more. There once was flowers before the dementia took her memory that there ever was anything but barren dirt. Before the days my grandmother was not allowed to garden in case she would wander off or get hurt again. There once was flowers strewn all across every open space in my grandmother's yard, but now her gravestone is covered in flowers of every kind every time I come to visit her and read her something new. Thank you.
All right, the amazing Sonia Greenfield is up next, who is in Minneapolis now, but most of us know us because she like poured her heart and soul into the California Poetry Festival.
Poetry Festival.
Yeah. So here she is, the beloved Sonia. Oh, Sonia.
I got to unmute. Yeah. I'm not a rookie here with the Zoom. Sorry. Took me a minute. Thank you, Nicelle. And congratulations on your book. The body part that I chose was the calf. I said, let me pick something that's really, I don't know how to write about, so I did. But the poem is called Circulatory System. My spouse is an anatomy lesson in circulation. He presses down on a vein in his arm so it goes flat to show where a valve works to prevent backflow. His limbs a ropey network of conduits. I can't help see the machinery of life everywhere I look. Can't help knowing how machines fail. As I trace blood that sits proud of his musculature, I remember days in the ICU when I tried to die, and how they would cut into my arteries for oxygenated blood, how livid bruises purpled my forearms for weeks. And over time, as they healed, it was like watching an abbreviated rainbow bloom in reverse. It's a little like forgetting the robot's a robot until a spring pokes out, or until a bug is revealed in the code. It's all I see. I can't help consider how I will never know my child at the age his father is now. So late I came to motherhood. So assured I am of my own demise. The veins in my spouse's calf have fallen and run across in haywire rivulets when they used to go up. And the zigzag looks so much like the cardiac rhythms our bodies keep time with until they don't. And then my next passion project, I guess, is going to be a book about being part of the sandwich generation. And this is called By the Pound. All the old women I know have grown frail. Pounds they've struggled with, whittled away by sickness, cancer and a broken heart. How they rejoice now in the exposure of clavicles that splinter when they fall, of ribs when they fall, of ilia that shatter like baskets built of dead wood. I remember the way a grandmother ate laxatives like candy, and the way ladies hid bodies in drab snap-up house dresses. A life tallied by the pluses and minuses of the bathroom scale, dusted with a thin layer of talcum. We say, eat, please eat, but the goal has been reached. So they smile and say, I'll eat when I'm hungry, until they finally waste away.
So I'm grateful we're recording this because I feel like these are poems that I need to emotionally revisit. Like it's kind of flying by, you guys. And to just add to the depth of language, we have Victoria up next.
Following Sonia, man. So I picked The Wrist. I'm just gonna read my body poem today. And I'm actually really nervous to read it. The Wrist is something I've been trying to write about for a while. And I specifically picked it because I knew having like
a homework assignment and a deadline would make me finally do it. So I'm just blown away by all the beauty that these body parts are being shown. And Nicelle, thanks for creating a place for us to get a little naked with each other. And okay, this is called Show and Tell. My love grows quiet in his corner of the cab as I point to the pale underside of my left wrist, where I once hid black ink forests of hatch marks under thick bracelets I bought with unspent lunch money. A secret game against myself, one tally for every precious hour I went hungry. I confess how the boys used to grab me by one wrist or the other, encircling it between thumb and index finger like a promise ring, always asking if I ate, and I liked it. I can't stop the details rising like bile in my throat, watching to see if he'll flinch or reach for me, if his eyes are asking the back of the passenger seat if he should worry. In his silence, I map my wrist's many marvels, bullseye of perfume's soft kiss, bones I've never broken, but have bruised desperate in prayer. Royalty, my love once laureled with silver handcuffs of his desire, and another night, the cuffs that cut into them in the back of a cop car that left me shivering in a sleeveless in a cell. Cat scratch survival. The cyst that nests between carpal bones. So with every downward dog and tricep dip, my wrist begs me not to forget it. A year from this moment, after I leave him, afraid of what I might keep doing with all this naked canvas, self-worth scoreboard of wrist, I'll tattoo it in lines I can't smudge off. Tallies turned to letters, turned to words that sing of a body's purpose other than shrinking. But tonight, I want him to know me inch by inch. What I mean when I tell him how I taught my body not to want. Why I open my mouth to him now and spare nothing. These are my scars, darling, the rot in my sugar grit skin, and I need him not to look away.
Okay.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah. Okay, so like obviously I have a type, right? Like a poetry type. And I'm always amazed, like when I hear a Victoria poem, I love every single word just for being that word, along with like the storyline. And now I have to like read a like Rusty Nail poem to you guys, which is about a woman's severed belly button. But I will tell you this, like any book that we ever try to write or put into the world, a poet will always be a poet, regardless of whether we have a reader or not. But a book can't be a book without a reader. So it kind of feels like I just had this kid. And if I don't ask you to buy the book, it's almost like not feeding my kid in a weird way. So I don't know. So feed this severed belly button. Okay, I'll get better at this. I probably won't, but I can say I will. So again, here's another poem of the Belly Button Saga. This is Belly, poem number 4. When the scar erases the erasure. 1. Other is just a name for A, teacher, B, mother, C, friend, D, lover, E, sister, F, daughter, G, taxpayer, H, dog parent, I, stain remover, J, pacifist, K, killer, L, adoption, M, author, N, hero, O, villain, P, victim, Q, woman, R, believer, S, water, T, droughts, U, problem, V, solution, W, you, X, me, Y, belly button, Z, failure, or all of the above. 2, I tell people about the belly button. I tell people I'll never write about the belly button. I say it's too personal. I say it's not my story. I say a great deal of things for attention. My son says to leave his stories alone. He is not casual. His life is not my next poem. My best friend became my enemy today. He says, why should I have to be the villain and the victim? So I can be the hero is the answer, and we know it. Heroes are the assholes of the world. This asshole wants to save a belly button. This asshole wants to save the girl. This asshole is the missing piece of an otherwise finished puzzle. Shit is the world being taken in and returned to the dirt it came from. What of the world isn't in us? Yesterday, I wrote my name on a bathroom stall with my own piece of God. With my ring finger, I spelled ASSHOLE. The smell was something like hell, something about it delightful, simply because it was. My friend enemy tells me anything I write will be forgotten in less than 2 decades. What I think but don't say is, I don't give a fuck. He says, get on my level. He says, brick and mortar. He says, my name is on buildings. I start writing about belly buttons. I start writing about a girl I never knew. I lie and lie and lie until lying seems all I ever do, even though I can give proof of the severed skin, can give shits for having written, can show you everyone I ever hurt trying to love them. When I tell my cousin, the lead engineer for collision avoidance software, about the belly button, about the girl, she looks puzzled. Wouldn't the scar be much larger than the belly button? What is removal if what is left is far larger? I've given you the 3 people I love most in my life and have lost in degrees. Reader, the scar is always larger than the whole. 3, I have said the words sorry. I have said the words love until I emptied them of meaning. All right, so next up, we have Paula, who is also from Minneapolis. It's like a little Minneapolis lineup. And then we're going to conclude our reading with the mystery part that has been brought to us by the great Rick Bursky, which is always kind of scary when like Rick has a mystery. You never know, you never know what will come from that mystery. So Paula's an amazing poet, has several books that I love dearly. It's so great that she's joining us from the other side of the country. And she's a very good friend, like in all ways. So hi, Paula.
Oh, shucks. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here celebrating. Congratulations, Nicelle. I chose the neck. And I'm just gonna start. Listen to songs that whole era when singing along never occurred to me. What are ghosts? Some black tar energy haunting my nape, according to a psychic. Troubles nuzzled, fears nestled. My neck craned was a crane, performing a verb with a long bird in it, not a machine. Kept thinking the same things and thinking they were new things. Broke the chrysocolla into 3 blue oceans on the floor. I was probably gawking at some morsel of the past again. Basically spent my days prolonging one's silence by filling it fat. No matter how muted it felt then, most things amplified. You've got to clear that shit, the psychic said, if you want to let truth up and out of the top of the bottle of you. Like everybody, I suspected that suffering wasn't helping quite as promised. What if Nietzsche had never gone viral with that "what doesn't kill us" quip? Even in that throat-locked era, it'd be a pleasure to go barefoot again through clover, I thought, often, then opened the door to no field. Only a back alley, only another night. There I was, shunning the moon, when that feral cat I loved from a distance skulked by to trip the neighbor's motion detectors. It saw me, and I saw it. We went from being two taciturn shadows to being whole animals, blinking. The sudden light wore our greeting like the dark inside its crown. Thanks.
I love the way Paula reads, almost like a conversation. Oh, look, our mystery man has disappeared. This is he's back. Hi, Rick.
There. So not much of a mystery, but before I talk about that, I was doing some calculations and I found out if people order your book, anyone who orders your book will be 18% happier for the rest of their life. And according to my calculations, that's a fact. So just think, for the small sum that it asks for the book, 18% happier for the rest of your life. That's a pretty good deal. Wow. So what many people don't know about me is when I was younger, that I was in the Army. That's not the mystery part, but my ear was damaged by a machine gun. And every single month, I get $164 from the government for that. That's your tax dollars go to me, which I use for beer and very little cocaine and sometimes for fountain penning. But I get that every single month for the rest of my life. So with that said, my poem, my mystery is called Ex Cathedra. 2 words, Ex Cathedra. What no one knows about me is that my left ear is made of rubber. The original was lost in an accident when I was 19. As Dr. Gorlick sewed it to the side of my head, he said it needed to be replaced every 11 years to appear to age along with my face. Vanity compels me to replace it every 13. A rubber ear isn't as uncommon as you think. 1 president and 2 movie stars had a rubber ear. The actors appeared in a movie together without knowing about the other's prosthesis. Every morning I apply lotion to the ear so the rubber doesn't discolor. Cell by cell, the body replaces itself every 7 years. It's simple science. I laid on my side as Dr. Gorlick sewed. A nurse held the ear in position. Lidocaine and something I don't remember prevented me from feeling the blood run down my neck and cheek. But I could taste it and began to spit. The nurse put gauze pads between my lips and apologized. Things like this happen all the time. Someone bleeds, someone apologizes. Oh, and I saw the thing in the chat. Someone asked, was it my cocaine found in the White House? Yes, it was.
We're like actually waiting for an encore Rick. So Rick teaches at UCLA Extension. He has like so many fabulous books. And he's just a very like, I don't know, like a nice, I don't know, a mentor. And he has so many jokes.
That's
so many bad jokes, but jokes, so many of them.
I find myself highly entertaining. Most other people don't, but.
Oh, no, they're entertaining for sure. Do we get one? Can I get one joke? I was trying to I was fishing, but I guess I'll just ask for
joke. All right. So I told my 2 poetry jokes. So why was I tell only bad jokes, but why was the broom late for work?
Hi.
It overswept.
Okay. I don't even know where to begin with gratitude and thanks to everyone that showed up today. We're doing pretty well on time. I have a final belly button poem. It's only 2 lines. So I will, and it's also what concludes the entire book. So big reveal, this is how the book ends. So the book is kind of about how fragile love can be and how it can fail, right? But ultimately, the end of the book says, belly poem number 5, emptied. And still I am sorry. And still I love you. So at the end of the day, even when love fails, it succeeds. And that's the end of the book. So, and that's the end of the reading. We did it. Yay. Such a victory. I'm super grateful for everyone that came. There's going to be like a whole bunch of events coming up that will be in person that I hope to see you that are inspired by this book. I'm trying to, anyone ever watch The Dating Game? Yeah, kind of. Okay. So there's going to be a couple events where poets are going to secretly write a poem to another poet that's in the reading, and the audience has to guess which poet has written the love poem to, so which poet wrote the poem to what other poet. And if you guess it right, then you get a fabulous prize. So we're going to do the poetry, like, slow. The poetry dating game is coming up soon. So I hope to see you guys at that. We're also going to do an achy breaky heart reading where you bring your favorite heartbreak poem, and then you also bring your favorite karaoke song. And so to read your poem, you also have to sing your karaoke poem. So I hope, or karaoke song. So I hope to see you guys at those. And that's it. So I guess we just wave until there's no one left to
we unmute ourselves and we give Nicelle
Oh,
Davis a big round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
We make noise with our body parts.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for all your parts. All right. I love
Bye.
you guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.